Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we exchange knowledge and information by trading headlines with questions and suggestions and ideas and all kinds of wonderful things that we do here at Coffee and Headlines. Am I repeating myself? Sure. Why not? Why? Because it is Friday. Yes, I think it's Friday.
Thank God it's...
I think it's Friday. It is Friday, March 17, and I'm happy that the week has come and gone. I hope you have great plans for the weekend. Feel free to let us know what you're doing this weekend. I'm doing a lot of very little, or trying to, and that's nice. That's very nice. Today we have great news, interesting news. We have, oh my God, our president. It was not a good week for President Lopez Obrador, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about all kinds of news and repairs, and the governor came and visited, and he was asked questions. There's all kinds of stuff to share today. But before we get involved in the news and the headlines, do let me know what you're doing this weekend. Do let me know what kind of new fun places you've discovered. Yesterday, the big topic seemed to be a place with grilled cheese sandwiches, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go and check it out. Maybe this will happen during the weekend. But let us know what you're up to. Let us know if you're watching live for the first time. You can do that by writing the word new in your comment. We'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. If there's something important that you wish to share with us, if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, we'll be very likely to not miss it during the conversation, the chit-chat section at the end. And for those of you that celebrate St. Patrick's Day, it is not such a big deal in Mexico, but hey, feel free to wear green. I will go green later on, if you know what I mean. Okay, quick and dirty news. Well, I don't know if they were dirty or not, but the repairs announced by SEAPAL yesterday morning were successfully completed, and water service should resume in affected areas during the course of this morning. Yay. Of course, we'll keep ourselves well informed as to upcoming areas that are going to be intervened in the future. Moving right along, let me cough. Much better. Governor Alfaro was in Puerto Vallarta yesterday attending an event at Marina Vallarta, at a Marina Vallarta hotel, and a group of locals did not waste any time setting up a demonstration again against mandatory vehicle verification outside of the hotel. Those protesting requested the support of environmental authorities in developing studies that could reveal whether Puerto Vallarta's air quality is so bad that it requires mandatory verification or not. A person there said that verifying vehicles does not address the issue of air quality, whereas tuning your vehicle does. And of course, I failed to see a big difference between those two concepts. Another protester said that tourism destinations should not even have to verify vehicles at all. Yes, that sounds like it makes a lot of sense to me. The money and revenue generations for the country, let's fuck them up with bad air. I don't know what to tell you. But when he was questioned about this, Governor Alfaro replied in the same manner as he had done so before. Number one, there is no turning back. Vehicle verification is here to stay. Number two, this is not a political issue. A lot of people are making it a political issue, but it isn't. And number three, it is an environmental issue. I'm going to keep my opinions to myself on this one and hope that people will eventually understand how important it is to protect our environment, even when it doesn't seem like we have to yet. Now, this one made me laugh because I've been thinking about public transportation over the past couple of weeks as the temperature is starting to increase. Jalisco Secretary of Transportation, Diego Monraz Villaseñor, finally acknowledged something we've known all along. Puerto Vallarta's public transportation service is not working as boasted by some. You think? And he has determined that an evaluation will take place to determine if we have enough buses or not. I mean, again, seriously? Meanwhile, you may recall that a few months ago, authorities requested that Unibus PB, our beloved bus company, repair all their air-conditioned buses. And they said, oh, yeah, they are going to be repaired. They're all going to work with air conditioning. And then new buses, which were red, were announced. And I don't see new buses, and I don't feel the fresh air when riding the bus. And of course, humid summer is right around the corner. So I don't know what to tell you there. All I know is that I see summer getting closer and closer, and I think it's going to be schwitzy on those buses once again. We have an expression for that, but I'm going to save it for a better occasion. The southbound lateral road along Francisco Medina Ascencio will be completed and inaugurated in April, according to Jalisco's Secretary of Infrastructure and Public Works. At present time, the project is estimated to be 96% complete. Of course, upgrades on the northbound lateral have begun right at the intersection of Medina Ascencio and Fluvial Vallarta Avenue across from La Isla. We announced that a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't been in that neck of the woods in almost 2 weeks, so I don't know if any progress has been made or not. During his visit to Puerto Vallarta, Governor Alfaro was also questioned about the high toll prices that were announced on the new highway from Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta, or vice versa. And Governor Alfaro was quick to remind that this is not only a federal issue. The high tolls have been implemented in the state of Nayarit, not in the state of Jalisco. Regardless, Governor Alfaro concurred that the prices for the new tolls seemed to be too high, and he announced that he would address this issue with the Federal Secretary of Communications and Transportation during a meeting in Mexico City scheduled for next week. We also announced a couple of weeks ago that members of the local tourism police would start English lessons, and this has actually happened. The first group will receive a total of 50 hours of English courses in 2 weekly sessions. What do you think about that? I think it's muy bien. It'll certainly help the communication between our tourists and our police force. And now, oh, good Lord, our president, let me put him on. Hold on just a second. Oh, look at that. I'm supposed to be able to show you. Okay, I'll go to my usual screen. Never mind. Pum, 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 pum. Hold on. There you go. And let me move over to the next one. There. So much for trying to do something different this morning. It was not the greatest week for President Lopez Obrador when it comes to the fight against fentanyl trafficking between Mexico and the United States. You know, we were just talking about, let me come back to this. We were just talking about Benito Juarez yesterday or the day before, and how his big phrase was between nations and between people, respect for everybody's rights is peace. Well, that doesn't seem to have stayed in the minds of some politicians. You see, first of all, a Republican senator from Texas, I believe, suggested that the United States should target missiles against clandestine drug labs in Mexico, not hurting people, just hurting the drug labs. Of course, President Lopez Obrador didn't take kindly to this and answered by suggesting, mind your own goddamn business, and saying that he will recommend allies in the United States not to vote for the Republican Party. Of course, the aforementioned senator didn't take kindly to this, and they started throwing pies at each other. But then the big snafu that got our president into big doo doo is that during one of his morning press conferences, he stated that fentanyl is not produced in Mexico. And this is partly true and partly false. Fentanyl for medical uses is indeed imported from Asia and turned into pills locally. But fentanyl is also produced in clandestine labs in Mexico. For that matter, Lopez Obrador said we don't have a fentanyl problem in Mexico. And that makes me wonder, if that is the case, why do I turn the radio on, and I do every day, to listen to the Mexican news, and every now and then there is a commercial about fentanyl awareness? So Lopez Obrador lies about fentanyl by saying there is no fentanyl in Mexico. There is no problem with fentanyl in Mexico, and the United States is the country that has the problem because they have no morals. Which I'm not going to say is true or false, but in the United States, at least one newspaper published a scathing editorial comparing the lies that President Lopez Obrador makes to those that come out of Donald Trump's mouth. And that is just not pretty. But, it is what it is. It's politics. It's what's going on. And I thought I would let you know about that. Lots of pies thrown at our president's face, and that is unfortunate. Holy shit moose. What on earth is a shit moose? Holy shit moose, I can see the sun, says our snarky weatherman. 28 degrees. Right now feels like 27 because humidity is low at 30%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees, is 82%. And our weather forecast for today says clear through the day with a high of 31 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, Saturday, will be another clear day with a high of 31 and a low of 19. And then Sunday, another clear day with a high of 30 and a low of 18. May the good, fair weather continue to remain in Puerto Vallarta as long as possible. Moving right along, I want to talk about Talpa de Allende, one of the pueblos mágicos that is near Puerto Vallarta. Semana Santa is coming, and for religious destinations such as the nearby Pueblo Mágico of Talpa de Allende, it is the best time to be there. At least it is for those whose Catholic faith compels them to be there, as the town is already receiving a higher number of visitors than expected. We're talking thousands and thousands of tourists. The patron saint fiestas at Talpa de Allende began on March 11, kicking off the influx of visitors. And then, of course, during this super long weekend, things will get even more crowded, and the level of activity in Talpa de Allende is not likely to wind down until after Semana Santa. Of course, it is a gorgeous little town to visit. It's a cute little town with basic hotels to spend a couple of nights at and enjoy the architecture and enjoy the the oldness of the town, the artisan guava pastes and other treats that get produced there. But if you are not so keen on crowds, this may not be the good time of year to visit Talpa de Allende. Before we wrap our news up and move into the comment section, I want to once again remind you that the Raicilla Festival that has been announced to take place along the Isla Rio Cuale starts today and continues through the weekend, providing an excellent opportunity to sample raicilla created by several local producers or regional producers, along with food offerings from local restaurants. And there will be live music and conferences and other amenities. This is happening at the Isla Rio Cuale this weekend. And with all that said, let us see what's on your mind for today, for the weekend, and chat. Let's see what's going on out there. I see good mornings. We love good mornings. I see a lot of green. I love it. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you that celebrate. Oh my God, I am wearing green. I forgot. There you go. I am wearing green. Let's see. For your information, the best ever peanut brittle now comes in new packaging, no longer red, now in gold package. Okay, that's good to know. Let's see. Oh no, Pat is leaving, but hopefully Pat will be coming back. Safe travels, dear friend, and come back soon. We enjoyed a dinner at Bravo's last night. Delicious, and we were well served. That's good to know, Diane. I've been at Bravo's many times, and Michael's restaurants never disappoint. Oh, Christy has kitties. It turns out that there are 4 baby kitties, 2 solid gray and 2 gray and white. No pics yet, as I don't want to freak mom out any more than I already have. Soon, though. I would love to see those photographs. Let's see what else we have. You know, if people wouldn't ride the bus for a day, I think they might fix them. I was actually thinking something a little bit more rebellious. You know, for all these people that are making traffic miserable with their demonstrations about vehicle verification, you know, I wish people would go and do a march about public transportation. I would certainly march. I really would. And I think the reason why we don't see marches against the public transportation situation in Puerto Vallarta is that it's simply not a political issue. And that is unfortunate. But I side with you, Suzanne. Something could and should be done with to make authorities realize that the bus service is really not what they're advertising it is supposed to be. Let's see. A big queue from Logan. That stretch in front of the Sheraton is my route to work, so I've been traveling through there twice a day for a number of weeks now, and happy to confirm that they have consistently been making progress there, and the end is in sight. Wish I could say the same about the northbound lateral right in front of my house. Thank you for that update, Logan. I suspected as much. I suspected that no progress has been made in front of La Isla, but I just had not been in that neck of the woods. Let's see. Good question. Going to Guadalajara Monday, and ETN says the trip will take 5.5 hours. What happened to faster trips? Okay, for starters, Fred, and we talked about this the other day. When you get to Guadalajara, there are 2 stops. One right before the city in Zapopan, and one right in the city in the Guadalajara bus terminal. Depending on where you're headed, it might be advantageous for you to get off the bus in Zapopan. I don't know that there's much of a price difference if you already bought your tickets and you are you were thinking of getting off of the bus in Guadalajara, but looking at the map, it makes more sense to you to get off in Zapopan, definitely get off in Zapopan, as you will cut your trip down by 1 hour at least. And that's the time it takes for the bus to go through the Beltway in Guadalajara. Oh, hold on. Scott says, we're hoping that you'll have a get-together later in April, as we'll be there towards the end of the month after the 24th. We would love to meet everyone. Our April get-together is already scheduled, Scott. It is unfortunate that you're going to miss it if you're going to miss it. Again, we do these 4 times a year. We try to accommodate friends as much as possible, but sometimes we can and sometimes we cannot. Let's see what else we have. Turin, Tuntin. More. What do you call the green chingaderas? In Spanish, we call them tréboles. But I see more of them on the screen. Let's see. Catherine put 3 up. Pat put 5 up. What do you call those in English? I forget. Anyhow, there's Q. I need more yarn. Can you please post where you get yours in Pitillal? Thanks. I actually get most of my yarn in El Centro. And it is at La Perlita. You can find La Perlita on Google Maps. It's right on Juarez Street. I believe it's Juarez, but it's easy to find. Shamrocks, thank you. In Spanish, we call them tréboles. That's good to know. April get-together is April 19th. That is correct. And I'm excited about April get-together. Next year, would you consider alternating the months like February instead of March? Sure, why not? As long as we're having 4 per year. Again, Paula, these are mostly, and please don't take offense by this remark, these are mostly organized for locals to connect with one another. I do appreciate that there are a number of visitors who like their times in town to coincide, but it's difficult to please everyone. But thank you very much for the suggestion. Let's see what else. The Guadalajara depot for ETN and other bus lines is in Tonalá, eastern suburb of Guadalajara. That is correct. Thank you for the reminder. Again, when it comes to taking the ETN bus to Guadalajara, most of us would rather get off the bus in Tonalá. In Zapopan. I'm sorry. In Zapopan. And, even if you have to go to the other side of the city, you want to get off the bus more often than not. You want to stretch your legs. And, of course, once you've gotten off the bus, you take an Uber to complete your trip. And somehow being on the Uber gives you more of a sense that you're already there. Or at least that's the way it works for me. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of today's broadcast and the beginning of the weekend. We will be back tomorrow morning as usual to wrap the week up, but do get started with your weekend. Today, St. Patrick's Day. I remember seeing on Facebook that Los Cuentos Tap Room is offering a special of combining beer and suadero tacos. We have never talked about suadero tacos here. Suadero is this special meat cut that is just yummy and tasty, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of places where you can be enjoying a celebration for St. Patrick's Day. So if you're going to go out and get all green, enjoy yourselves, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning. Take care.